Pelican is carrying too much on M80. For a team this good, there shouldn't be one player clearly hard carrying you this often. As I see, I feel like Pelican is doing time and time again. And now, though, Pelican happy, they're in the States.
I was just about to say, it's going to be even scarier.
They're not playing at like 6 a.m. from Korea. This is a huge buff to the team. So getting people off ping, getting them together in person, Nero as well as a backup, that's going to be valuable. This team should be super scary. The player strength is incredible, but they haven't been as strong as I would have wanted them to be. I set a really high bar for these players. Maybe that's not fair.
I want to hear from you. In the previous matches, like looking at the group stage, were you convinced by what you saw from it? And maybe like leave out like the big conversation.
No.
Looking at the tanks, especially here. How did you feel?
I think Hawk is not the issue on this roster. If you actually wanted to have a conversation about, who's contributing the most, who's contributing less.
Well, not so much about the individual, but about the compositions they were running and how they looked on it.
I think that for M80, I think that they're capable of bringing out most compositions here and do a pretty good job. Like, even if you have Hawk playing like Doomfist, Orisa, D.Va, like they brought out some of the Cassidy Torb, that we've seen in
I think
Korea
Hawk's
as well.
Winston is good too.
Yeah, the Winston is probably capable. Like it's not one of those situations where you're like, oh, it's a traditional off-tank player trying to adjust to main tank. It's like, no, he has pretty good Winston. So I don't think it falls on Hawk at all. I think, as Jake said, and I said this earlier in the week as well, like waking up 7 a.m. and you're a hit scan player and you have to perform, okay, that's a valid excuse. Okay, I could buy that.
Not a
but
valid excuse.
now I'm tired of excuses. Okay? This is M80's time to perform, and if they end up like taking some surprising loss or whatever, I'm just like done with this team. I'm just like, I've given you way too much rope. So now I either perform or I'm just like...
Or Johnny is out. Well, let's take a look at the opposition here. FMCL. Hard to tell what this team is capable of. I mean, they crushed Nightmare and Vice in groups in a very dominant fashion. Lost to Students of the Game, which people would have expected. That was also a 3-0 loss. It is a team made up of a lot of interesting players, though. I do love the duos we have. I love the storylines we have. I mean, Lep and Renko going up against their former team.
That's always a dramatic
storyline.
Some dramatic grudge match here. I like this team.
I think Ariel on tank is someone not to sleep on as well. Really strong performer on tank, especially the high mechanic heroes like Orisa. Very, very aggressive. When he pushes in, he's really clean with it. So I think the tank play can be a strong suit for FMCL. To be honest, though, I know I would have probably expected Students of the Game to be favorites, but a 3-0 is more of a gap than I would have wanted to see based on the players on FMCL. I feel like they shouldn't be that far behind, a team in the top 5-6 of NA. So to be honest,
maybe they also had to get up at 7 a.m.
Maybe both of these teams, there's a little underperformance from both of these teams. So now
these are gamers, Zoe. Like 7 a.m. is brutal.
So am I.
7 a.m. is
and I am up at 5 in the morning.
No, we're boomers. We're grown up. Like we're on the north side of 20s. Like it's over.
Let's be honest. Yeah, if you're on a pro gaming team, 7 a.m. That's like a curse. That's like a death sentence.
Anyway, I think in short for FMCL, they have all the individual players. They have all the mechanical skill. Let's just see if they make dumb decisions or smart decisions.
Okay, well, we're about to find out. The game is ready, so are we. So let's send it over to our casters, Mitch and Mr. X.
Thank you very much, gang. Yeah, plenty of storylines to dig into in a match like this. Are you there, bro? Knock, knock.
No, I'm not there. I'm just. Hey.
Now, I asked for this guy.
I'm here with the winner of the debate.
Yeah, I'm used to casting with serial yappers, so I was very ready to go over and bring Hugo in. Matt, how you going? How you doing, mate? I never ask you this ironically normally, but yeah, I'll do it now.
Yeah, this is actually the first time you've ever asked me if I'm okay.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm just doing it for the show,
fine.
Really.
Yeah, we got that footage yesterday with Hugo. All you got to do, freak him out, is drop his penguin into the couch. His little penguin, he absolutely goes crazy for it. And then, you start asking him questions, and you see that beginning video, he starts going crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad he's got some opinions. Nice. Hopefully that rubs off on you a little bit today, because there's plenty to talk about as we jump into this match. There is a little bit of a grudge element, of course. The backline of M80 on FMCL. Mate, I've been wearing this for ages. I wore this last year. I can't believe you don't remember. I am reusing it.
That's the problem.
That wardrobe budget, yeah, thing of the past, mate. I'm bringing them back. You know what I mean? And no one's going to say a darn thing because they're not really looking. They're looking at the gameplay.
It's like you're releasing the same album over and over again, but calling this one a deluxe. Just put a little new.
Yeah,
a
it's
new,
like
cover
I really
and a
miss
new coat of
2018,
paint.
except without the 6v6. I'm going to run these albums back. Give me. I'll get some mixtapes coming. Look, I mean, FMCL got utterly sogged in the group stages, right? Their matchup against Students of the Game did not favor them at all. But M80, they're on my list. Happy and Pelican now are, to the best of our knowledge, Matt, in the United States. But it was a pretty unconvincing exit from the group stage for M80, narrowly escaping in their last game in a 5-er.
To the best of your knowledge, it sounds like that sounds ominous. Like
well, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it and then watch them get absolutely
I believe they are.
Okay, there you go. To the best of my knowledge,
they are, sure. They're here. This is one their M80 should win, right? But FMCL, we've seen them obviously play pretty good, obviously, to get here. And they have some players who this is a little bit of a grudge match, right? So as we kick things off, it'll be both teams going with that Orisa-based composition. I'm curious, Mitch, we've seen a little bit, now that like some teams really favoring the Cassidy over the Sojourn. Well, Cassidy, I think, is a little bit more consistent in terms of the results, where Sojourn, you miss the shots, not really going to be doing anything.
It's harder to miss those shots now with just how like the hitbox size for projectiles has changed, but with the health changes, Sojourn can't just insta-kill you. She has to work you down a little bit with that primary fire first, whereas Cassidy's still good for a 2-shot against many targets. Of course, that extra durability, you see Siki here is, representing a pretty nice health pool, and of course the hindrance that's available to you with Mag Grenade makes him pretty powerful. M80 getting crunched here on this right-hand side of the map, and an Immortality Field already has to be committed to the fight. Aerial doing well to hold their ground here, but popped some of those defensive cooldowns too early, and as a result, falls first.
Yeah, I think that FMCL, they thought they had the advantage there, kind of like pushed up into the choke. They just needed to secure one kill. The issue was they weren't able to find that kill. That time Seeker actually, I believe he actually just dies to the explosion of the mag grenade there as he goes right into the body of Happy. But they push up onto the point. They try and secure one kill. They actually have an advantage at the start. They're not able to get the kill. M80 with Ultraviolet, on that Baptiste, able to keep everybody topped up, and then they work down Aerial on the point.
Now with Happy and Pelican set up for success, there's just not a lot of reason for M80 to struggle against some of these, up-and-coming teams anymore. Definitely expect them to have a dominant performance, and the start has been good. Amplification Matrix gets popped here, and this keeps FMCL's heads down back towards their spawn. They'll at least come in with that rotation to support ultimates themselves. But you see Pelican already trying to apply some pressure on the left here. Renko has to have his wits about him. Javelin's been already going to be drawn out of Hawk. He's lost that armor now. Pelican's had to recall, but comes back into the fray with a vengeance. Here's a sound barrier pop, and you're short-handed when you're using it for FMCL. That's gone for basically nothing.
So you end up using it, right? It's not horrible because you end up trading the beat for the opposing beat, right? So Liar ends up using that. And now you have for sure an advantage in terms of Renko having this amp matrix with no amp matrix on the other side, right? You've been holding on to this for a little bit. But M80, I mean, you got a Pulse Bomb, you have a Terror Surge, it's going to start things off with that overclock getting quite aggressive.
Hawk circumventing the amp matrix for the most part, and Happy's able to come forward now with that overclock. It was Renko that caught the shot from the overclock. And that'll be that. FMCL can't get a good position, Matt, to use that amp matrix at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we talked about why, FMCL invests the beat in the last time, right? But M80 is so well trained that they know, okay, there's an amp matrix on the other side. What do we have, right? We can spear spin into it, get aggressive, push them back, negate any of the effects of that Baptiste ult.
95% and counting. M80, strong strides here at the start of Oasis. Pelican stunned up briefly there by the Javelin, but more than happy to recall and flip it around on Aerial. He gets drawn out of position and isn't in a spot to mitigate damage for the rest of their team. Here's that Air Matrix now from Ultraviolet. Gets his up way quicker than Renko could hope to. And the Immortality Field is not enough to keep Aerial alive. Pelican trolling the enemy Orisa in that side room for the last 20 or so seconds.
Yeah, Hawk ends up killing the Immortality Field, so that Pulse Bomb goes off and actually does lethal damage there. As the first fight, looked actually pretty decent for FMCL, right? They get that position on the point, they're not able to secure the kill, and then after that it's just all M80, right? Nothing really positive happens for FMCL after that. So we'll see if things can turn around here in our second point. Potentially some comp changes right here with a little bit of high ground that teams like to play for. Potentially see some more characters with mobility.
My own here. Just with a sim switch for a TP, maybe back to the Torb. An effort to limit the impact of Pelican's Tracer. Yeah, that's going to be locked in here. So we'll see how this plays out as, you know, M80 to be very quick to try and establish that high ground. It'll be Aerial on the Divi here. So ostensibly, Matt, a pretty decent pick if you want to transition between this low and high ground in a pinch.
Yeah, can definitely put pressure onto the high ground, right? It's just, I feel like they're going to have a tough time securing this, right? You're going to have to just play around the defense matrix to get up towards that high ground. So, Maymon, that's the turret that goes down there. As we'll see where they try and set up with this torp, right? Like, not a lot of great areas to do so, but like you mentioned, potentially just to kind of like play a little bit extra defense around the back line at Seeker.
Hawk here with a vintage skin on, just quietly pushing the FMCL straight back into their side of the map here. Eventually able to take control of that high ground. CQC still contesting it, took a javelin earlier on, but more than happy to return here when there's an opportunity to do so. Oh, my moan's okay. He's all right. He can DI forward there and get back onto the health pack, but now he's completely isolated. Still, Hawk doesn't really want to get caught with that overload up against the Tor for too long. Fortunately, Pelican came to the rescue, but it's a trade.
Yeah, the D.Va just doesn't have the staying power of the Orisa, right? Like, you can just see how Hawk can just push up without, much fear, right? Getting right up into the opposing team's face. FMCL not even able to get the point there. That'll be off of the Torb now to Tracer. It's just, even if you can't control the high ground as often, right? The ability to just survive on the point and put pressure on the opposing team with the Orisa is just so strong.
Defensive cooldowns way more robust for the Orisa. Again, just on, I guess like D.Va used to be on like a timed cooldown instead of a resource for a defense matrix, except you have an extra one of those cooldowns to use, and you can cycle them. Here come M80. Speaking of ultimates though, they're cycling that sound barrier now. This is a Deadeye from Seeker as they've been forced back, hoping to find his way back in, but trades it in for an instant reload and nothing more. Great tap tier on Hawk though, strips that armor instantly, forces M80 to play back, but now they can spring forward behind that amplification matrix. Pelican trying to keep Renko busy, but M80 gets shoved off the point for the time being here. Hawk too low, and Liar's not there to get him out.
Yeah, they find that kill onto Liar, which is huge. No speed boost to kind of move that Orisa around the map, and then they can actually get things going. So what I think they need to do with this D.Va, right? So D.Va's great in terms of like 1v1 potential accessing the backline. It's like you almost need to just kind of like circumvent the Orisa, right? And put pressure onto the Lucio, onto the Baptiste, even the Cassidy, right? I think that's kind of what you're trying to do here. Have aerial work in combination with Maymon and make plays.
Also, setting up Maymon, like you said, to dive backliners more effectively. So from Aerial just there on the chase at least. Maymon gets 3 kills set up by Aerial. Okay, high ground control. Pretty hard to shift the Orisa off this, and there's going to be a charge in under that Fortify. Happy able to get away from the pulse bomb, and he never had a chance to use the Deadeye. All the skulls showed up, but Pelican found 3. And FMCL still picking themselves, peeling themselves off the pavement.
Yeah, I mean, they just got bullied back into that corner, and then the pulse bomb from Pelican. I wonder if that's actually just stuck on the ground or stuck to anybody. It just seems like there was no way out there for FMCL.
But how? The Terror Surge was up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that is a filthy combo, right? We've seen the Terror Surge comboed with a few different things, like an overclock comboed with the pulse bomb there. Almost like a grab in a way, right?
Overkill. Absolute overkill if you think the Deadeye was also committed to that fight. But M80 are on the precipice of taking away the entire map as it is. Happy putting pressure on Aerial here. To the high ground we go. Backing up as the Deadeye now is being used by Seeker to make that space here. Surely no one in M80 would dare challenge this. Liar. Almost gets caught by the heel there, but here's an M-Matrix to the low ground, and Seeker's not ready for it. He dropped there for his own safety, and it ends up being the worst place he could have been. There's no way you're getting back in that Mac Aerial. That self-destructs. Ultraviolet though behind the Amp Matrix is there with the damage. And a quick cleanup here sees M80 snatch away OWCS. Pretty commanding fashion here, and this is what we were expecting when we set expectations with Happy and Pelican now stateside.
Well, I mean, that's what you want to see from M80, right? And I think the desk kind of talked about it a little bit. You want to see more than just Pelican for M80, right? Pelican had a great first map like you expect him to, but it's not all Pelican, right? Everybody contributing for M80, which is a great sign for their future prospects.
Yeah, and it's not a shaky result like we saw against Pirates in Pajamas. That was like a real drawn-out slugfest, and a game where, like, Pirates played up to M80, I think, in a big way, but M80 looked a bit shaky and weren't exactly able to get the most out of their DPS. You can see the difference made. You can see why everyone was so excited about this basic super team that was put together by M80. Now, with these pieces in place, they're starting to look ahead at teams like the Defiant, right? If they can get a win in this series, they're thinking even further ahead. Oh. It's going to be up to these guys to give M80 a reason to respect him.
I mean, you say like look forward to some of those other teams. I still think that FMCL, like this, just obviously was a pretty poor map one. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they play them pretty close in some of these other maps. I think there were some things. I don't think the Diva was particularly awesome in the second point, and then I think they were able to kind of get a little bit of an advantage at the start of the first point, right? And make some fights interesting. So would I say the FMCL's coming back and winning this? Like I think it would be tough to predict that, but I also think there's like avenues for them to make this series pretty close.
Especially when we saw how atrocious M80 were when it came to those push maps, right? New Queen Street was really, really rough for them. And honestly, something that we said about them is that they at times struggled in the Orisa mirror. That was an issue for them sort of back during the group stages. Doesn't seem like it's been an issue so far in this matchup. And if you recall, FMCL, like their biggest weapons is definitely in the form of Seeker, right? It's that hit scan DPS, it's that consistency, obviously that backline strength, right? But speaking of which, your head-to-head here is Lep and Laya. Obviously, Lep replaced by Laya on this team. So, well and truly worth looking at here. But, again, probably hard to really read too much into this.
Are you calling it after one game?
No,
You're calling it after one game.
Okay, so to be fair, I am definitely getting excited about the prospect of this team being able to get happy in Pelican stateside. Like, I am sort of dying on the name brand hill already, but I'm seeing an M80 that doesn't look nearly as fallible as they did through the group stages. So that is filling me with confidence. Trying not to get ahead of myself here, but M80 have to be taking each map as it comes. I'm talking about the Toronto Defiant. They shouldn't be even thinking about that. They still got a real game to play here.
I mean, if you're M80, right, this roster is good enough to contend with some of those top teams. So, like, you have to kind of hit that ceiling. Like, that's the ceiling I think everybody's expecting you to hit. And in a team like FMCL, pretty good, right? But you expect this team to be able to get over this relatively easily, right? So we'll see if they do so.
And you have the undisputed bench lord Nero, by the way, the classic utility player that so often got rotated into his teams. I'm thinking like rosters like the Shock back in the day to play a lot of those pocket picks here. You've got a lot to work with here. And again, we saw FMCL rotate Zera and Seeker around a lot. And in fact, they were both playing the Sojourn on multiple occasions. So we weren't really sure like what the thinking was, like what maps sort of dictated that kind of switch up. But they both look quite good. They both got gapped in that matchup against Students of the Game, though. That was like one area of a sore spot, I think, that we could touch on for FMCL, is that they were struggling with just this hit scan prowess that they were dealing with from the Students of the Game. And that is going to be present in spades here up against a team like M80, when you've got Happy and Pelican looking at you from across the map.
Yeah, I mean, Happy and Pelican is just such a sick, damage dealer combo, right? They can just play. Pelican can just play anything, and then Happy, you just put whatever hit scan is popular at the time. There's always going to be one. It seems with FMCL, they'll be on defense, so they'll actually go with like a Ramatra-based composition, Ramatra with the Cassidy. So this is kind of like space station-esque. Is that a souvenir we see? Okay,
it's the Winton
rare souvenir sighting.
The Winton, baby. Wasn't that a drop? Wasn't that a stream drop?
Possibly.
Maybe it was a battle pass.
I have the WoW battle pet called the Winton battle pet. That looks very similar.
All right, let's see M80 now getting up to a one-map lead. Let's hear what the comms are going like. See where the vibes are at.
What pick are they?
We're in this together.
We not see.
Lucy, the back drop. I
go left side.
Ram.
Pushing.
Counter main.
Walk up.
Maybe left side. Oh.
Come back. I'm good.
Stop. Everyone stop. Go fucking Orisa, Lucio. Go Orisa.
I'm good. Are you good?
Think we need to?
Alright, I'm going Lucio. Maybe you can stay.
Yeah, I think Orisa's good, right?
I'm already
Actually, 6 fucking decent a lot on this map.
Yeah, that cast.
Yeah.
We can walk.
Yeah. Good shoot, main. Stay main.
They drop. Back in.
Shoot. We can. Yeah, push up.
3, 2, 1.
Swing on them. Heal me. Stay heal.
There's a top, yeah.
Take one. Push me.
Oh, I'm on.
Oh, fuck. Form.
No.
Back.
You good?
There's a lot of discussion here for M80 about what tank actually would suit them best against this unexpected Ramatra defense setup.
Well, I think they were like looking to see what tank they had on the other side at the start, and I don't think they got like a great, sightline until they turned the corner, and then they saw it was the Ramatra. Some discussion whether Orisa or Sigma. I think potentially they want to stay the Sigma, and then Hawk now forced over to the Orisa. So seems to also be like they didn't have a Lucio at the start, right? Playing a little bit slower with the Brig Bath. You absolutely, I think, need the Lucio to get through this choke.
My own great stick, but an Immortality Field instantly drawn out of Ultraviolet there. Yeah, the Orisa seems to be the play for now. A little split, though, from the rest of M80, who are playing that high ground here. FMCL getting a lot of value here out of just these brief bursts of aggression behind the Ramatra Nemesis form.
Yeah, you're going to be under 2 minutes here, right? Really no progress to get through the choke here for M80, so pretty good defense here for FMCL.
Oh, okay. M-Matrix, a little bit of an awkward angle to try and use this. And in fact, Matt, M80 have already pushed ahead of it here as all of FMCL give that ground up. Perhaps that was by design.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They just kind of kite it. Now they'll buy that space back with a Deadeye, right? So you kind of trade Matrix for M80, buy some space, then the Deadeye now kind of takes it away and forces them inside of the Firehouse here, where now a real fight will kick off, where depending on how long this goes, Mitch, I mean, I was going to say, M80 needs something to go their way, and that time happy with a headshot.
Beautifully done. That one-shot potential, or quasi-one-shot potential from Cassidy goes a long way here. Pelican gets a little too close to Seeker there and takes a bit of damage. Love the body blocking there for Hawk. Happy now with the Deadeye. Well, actually have a decent shot here even through this. It has to be an Immortality Field there for Renko. But Lep's already used a sound barrier and they're all so low. And even through Annihilation, Ariel cannot be kept standing. Eventually taken out of the picture, and M80 will have that point. And mate, you talk about a trade of space, right? M80 get into the Firehouse. They just have to like wait for the Deadeye. I don't know if FMCL really were able to reclaim much behind that.
I mean, no, not really. They weren't able to kind of like push on. They're not going to like push into the Firehouse to make a play for them, right? They just don't have that type of comp. They kind of want to like lock them in there. But Pelican and Happy get outside and they get that pick so fast that that's where things crumble. Where Ariel now will go over to the Sigma, so can control a little bit of the high ground here. Some just kind of consistent damage. So might be a pretty good pick.
We're on the road here to the Sigma now again. Seemed fine for Hawk until Ariel started taking that space away, pressuring the shield down. Ariel might just want to trade some aggro and some poking from that high ground, but look at how quickly that shield blew up with the Amp Matrix in play. All of FMCL have to respect this, but they're able to retain the high ground. Problem is, Matt, at some point they have to give it up voluntarily to contest this.
Yes. I was going to say a lot of cart progress. That was like both M-Matrixes. Seeker actually uses the Deadeye there and gets one player really low, so M80 has to back down. But yeah, look at this. Terror Surge inside.
Oh, look at me, because could be so good there. Immortality Field had to come out for Renko. It was still nice. I mean, they came out of the Immortality Field looking beaten, battered, bruised. Beautiful stuff there. We didn't get the combo with the Pulse Bomb from Happy, like Pelican rather, like we did on Oasis, but it was still good looks. And Matt, Hawk just walked straight past Ariel, completely disrespected the Sigma.
Yeah. Well, once you lose that space between the Orisa and the Sigma, right? Like the Sigma needs to just kind of be playing at a distance the entire time. That's why like high ground to the low ground is they're kind of like moving the payload, right? That kind of works out. Once they get into that close quarters, I mean, I know it is curtains for the Sigma, right? I mean, that is when the Orisa is just able to dominate that type of situation where now they'll actually match tank and Seeker will now go to the Sojourn. So seen a lot of Sojourn or Cassidy now going to go over and try and Sojourn here. Maybe at a little bit more long range.
Pelican sees my own drop down on him. Opts out of that engagement for a bit of a top up, I'd say. Okay, Seeker now. Sees that Deadeye and gonna vacate the space as quickly as possible. Beautiful though, M80, they take advantage. Ariel could not get to safety in time. Left not able to ferry him out of there. Seeker will attempt to make something happen here with the railgun shots, and they weren't too shabby, but still enough here for M80 to get some more progress. They'll have to regroup and get off this at some point, Matt, but this is a good sign for the attacker.
I mean, do you need to get off of this, right? Happy's going to come back on the Widow. You have, Beat and Amp Matrix here. Like, you can kind of gamble a little bit and go for it, right? As they do back up just a little bit. So just this Widow, the pressure, right, is going to force these, sight lines.
Nice, real nice from my own. Pelican has to double back and help here, and even he is not able to do too much. Questing Pulse Bomb there from my own. Yeah, I like the idea. It didn't quite pay off though, and now Pelican with a sound barrier on him was looking to pressure Seeker down. Good timing from Lep to reciprocate there, and love that. Slide straight on in. And Pelican had nowhere to go once the rail came calling.
Yeah, as M80 now, they'll actually have their Ant Matrix for this next fight, right? So double support ult use there for FMCL. I think they actually just needed a fight win, right? Like, you don't win here, then you're kind of getting a junk fight out of the spawn. So may as well, invest a little bit. The cart's going to move backwards. I thought you would just do the Widow for, like, maybe, the spawn coming back, right? They want to keep pushing it, but they're going to stay on the Widow for now. Light are going to be playing the Brig, so no speed to even close that gap. I think this is actually even a little bit better for FMCL, right? With some of these ranged characters. Seeker goes to the Widow now as well.
I love that Seeker's happy to take the challenge. That high ground position, though, favors the attacker to some degree. Seeker can play out of that sight line mostly. Happy he was looking for him, though. Here's an A Matrix now. And Nolan gets caught in the Gravitic Flux. That's ridiculous. Aerial. A big miss on that one. But Seeker doesn't. Finds Ultraviolet there. Getting rid of the Baptiste is probably the most high-value target you could ask for there. And to take him out of the fight instantly, even better.
Yeah, it's FMCL now looking like potentially can put together a little bit of a hold here. Is what you have a Gravitic Flux plus Pulse Bomb, like not a huge wombo combo, so to speak. Seeker with another Widow shot is starting to really kind of feel it now on the hit scan.
Gotta respect this guy. Definitely one of the standout North American hit scan talents. Putting the pressure on these interlopers. Pelican there trying to stay out of the crosshairs, but eventually M80 will have to group up behind this Sigma. Oh, does he know? Yes, he's aware. Happy's found Seeker though, that's a big opener. This is now going to force the entirety of FMCL back and open that sightline even further for Happy. Now a couple of chokes to shoot into as the card's getting close. We are, though, in overtime. Accretion only gets splash damage on Pelican, no stun, so no chance to capitalize here. Beautiful. Again, Ultraviolet gets brought down. Seeker starting to fire up while Happy is busy swatting flies. Mimone closes the gap. This could be dangerous for Happy now. He's in a bit of trouble. Pulse won't be necessary, but has been built. Hawk, though, hanging in there, staying alive, but an Ant Matrix from Renko is going to make it very hard. When that Kinetic Grasp expires, so too will the Sigma.
And really nice stuff for FMCL, so they get a hold here. No, not a full map completion for M80. It was actually kind of looking like that for, most of the game, right? Once they got, that second checkpoint, it looked like it was pretty much smooth sailing. So to get a hold here at the end, pretty huge stuff. I also think a good thing for FMCL is you start to see Seeker come alive a little bit, right? I know Happy was crushing on the Cassidy. And then kind of once, Seeker went over to the Soldier and went over to the Widowmaker, started to come alive a little bit, where I know as a player like that, a hit scan player, like all you need to see is like, a few really nice shots, make a few nice plays, the confidence goes up, and start to see the tides turn a little bit.
Yeah, look, there's a question for me about whether the Widowmaker is the answer for Happy there towards the end of the map. Not really an issue that he's baited Seeker into mirroring, that's just good fun, but Hanzo here from Happy. Now this is really interesting because now as the game has changed, especially after that Season 9 patch, Hanzo does not have that same level of one-shot potential. You're relying much more on the Storm Arrow, which has a reduced cooldown for the lion's share of your damage here. So very good against like shield-based comps, but obviously doesn't have that same lethality that Widowmaker can offer now as only true one-shot characters, or one of them in the game.
It's pretty good burst though, the Hanzo, right? If you think they're gonna run like Ramatra on the other side, or even against the Orisa potentially, right? You can just cut through that armor with the Storm Arrow. So we'll see how Happy plays on the Hanzo, and we'll see if FMCL sees this and has any type of response. Is taking a little bit of a longer route.
Gonna be very much
up top through the subway.
He's gonna be very much outranged by Happy here. Do they dare go through the train car like this? This is all going to be revealed via the Sonic. And Hawk is, possibly the perfect tank to play that position. So Sonic gets thrown in. They see it all here in M80, and they've grouped up. Here they come, pushing out here.
Look at this, yeah.
Absolutely overwhelmed there.
Yeah, but who cares about this Hanzo, right? They just speed boost out, and they just run down the Torb.
Well, that's kind of just my point. I just don't know if it's even good enough to be truly threatening. Mimone on the Genji, which otherwise would be kind of annoyed playing into Torb, but there's just no chance really for Pelican to set up around that turret at all. He just gets bowled over. Beautiful attack here for FMCL.
Yeah, they're just looking for a target to run down, right? Torb limited to no mobility. Get the Ramattra and Nemesis form, the Cassidy, right? To just feels impossible to kill at times, and then Genji with a speed boost right in the face of that Torb and just falls on over. As M80 will stay here with the Hanzo. Seeker will actually switch over to Widow, and Liar's gonna go Zen. So really interesting here now, bringing the Zenyatta in the mix. Obviously, the Discord Orb's still very strong, but they're going to have to do everything they can to protect him.
Again, it's really only Maimone that can challenge. He's expected to play safe behind Hawk Shield for the most part. Happy with a Sonic actually finds a kill. That's Renko. And there it is. Seeker eventually emerges. That's the risk here for Happy. He doesn't really know when and where Seeker is going to pop up. Keeps his life up there. The Zen is also under a lot of pressure, and yep, that's another for Seeker.
Man, I'm telling you, sometimes like when you're a hit scan player and you just see a few of these shots, and you start to make plays and get in a little bit of a flow, it can change things completely. Seeker now starting to nail these shots, whether it be on the Widowmaker or the Cassidy. Is Liar gonna go off the Zen, not gonna try and play that anymore. Ooh, that is a sick shot.
He's been breathtaking so far in this stage of the map. M80, if they're not playing from behind the Sigma shield, they're in a lot of trouble. Gravitic Flux here from Hawk finds very little. Sound Barrier now comes out from Lep. He didn't even have to use it until he was sort of waited a few seconds after that Flux was dropped. If anyone was even caught in that. Dragon Strike, though, there's no chance to escape from it at that kind of range, and Aerial's brought down. So the fulcrum here for this FMCL poke comp is out of the picture. They're going to struggle to advance.
Yeah, I was going to say that M80 absolutely needed a fight win in the worst way, right? To just kind of let them continue to move through there. Just kind of escort the payload all the way. That second checkpoint would have been like over 4 minutes in the time bank. You never want to say anything is like a guaranteed loss, but it would have been really difficult to come back from that. So they decided to invest a lot of ultimates into that. Gravitic Flux, Dragon Strike, right? And try and take that high ground, which they do, taking out Aerial.
Maimone here. I think it's pretty clear what his objective is right now. Stay hidden and get a good pulse stick, but Pelican is doing the exact same thing on the other side of the underpass. Here's the stick, it's good. Hawk immediately deleted. Accretion there never found its target. Gravitic Flux should have a good catch here. The Hanzo, they'll take it. Don't have quite the angle to follow up, and a great immortality field from long range. There's an Ant Matrix here for Ultraviolet to play behind, and it's going to force M80 back. He even gets the Sigma kill. What a fantastic answer for M80 to sing the Flux, capture their Hanzo.
I mean, that is such a sick play from Ultraviolet, right? Being able to keep the Hanzo alive and then also drop the Ant Matrix, pick up a kill after that, especially on Aerial, who I know was really kind of the key there for FMCL. So 2 fights in a row, M80 clutch up as now FMCL, it's starting to get a little bit scary, right? Because you have to swap so many of these heroes, right? You're, resetting or greatly diminishing the amount of ultimates you have. And now you're looking at like, okay, we only have 2 minutes, right? You're looking at like 3 pushes at best.
I'm enjoying the Brigette switch here, to be honest with you, because FMCL have shown they want to run past Hawk, or at least at him. The Briggette's going to give you a heck of a lot of options, especially with that rally now available. Here's a Dragon Strike. We'll cut Aerial off from the rest of his team. And look, immediately, Happy wants to capitalize. Hawk swings back towards the rest of M80. Happy can't overextend from this high ground yet, so unfortunately, the Dragon Strike doesn't get them what they wanted. But you see the idea was there. Happy in the Vortex. Not so pleased with that one as Renko will finish.
So you get one. Can you get any follow-up though? Rally, so you're not going to really want to push into this. Is Hawk just trying to be a disruptor on the Doom?
This is a power play for FMCL. Make no mistake, Renko gets to set up an Ant Matrix on this high ground. And M80 are very split here. Hawk can't remain in the open for very long. This is a risky pick against this competent. Free haircut, not the Doom needs it there from Seeker. With a railgun through the Ant Matrix. Hawk has to cycle cooldowns to keep this card contested, but here comes Seeker. Sound Barrier now means he can take every risk in the book, and even some that hadn't been written. And FMCL get this second checkpoint with over 2.5 minutes to play.
I gotta say though, like if M80 gets the hold here at the end, it feels like the 2 fights that they kind of go all in on here is really what would allow them to do it, right? Like this could have easily been, I know, 4 minutes now for FMCL to kind of push this in, but you've dwindled that clock down, I know, at about half of what potentially it could have been. So obviously FMCL, they get the point right now. They have an opportunity to actually win Midtown, but M80, it feels like their best opportunity to end up winning it. I know was getting some time off the clock there.
Absolutely. This last part of the map is treacherous as always. Aerial needs to find a way to really break through and then never give up on the gas. This could be big. Renko able to get away from that though. Immortality field deployed, it doesn't matter. Oh, buddy, Hawk is actually able to remove the immo as he charges with the punch. I mean, he'll claim he intended it. I'm happy with that. But still an unlikely way that that fight played out.
And it looks like potentially going back to the spawn here is Hawk. Yeah, gonna get escorted back. Orisa,
Hawky boy, get that dub.
Once that meteor strike is gone, right? No, now you don't really need as much that high ground forward pressure. You can play this Orisa play a little bit safer here for the end of the game.
Pelican, sneaky beaky. Renko jumping up and down like every Overwatch player ever. He's going to be able to avoid the Tracer for now. What goes up must come down at some point. Seeker embodying that. Right now, he's more than happy to give the high ground, have a better shot. Straight into the path of the Javelin. Lucky to get out of there alive, I'll be honest with you. There is Annihilation available here for Aerial, but Lep gets taken down. Beautiful stuff for Happy. Through the Amp Matrix goes the railgun shot. And nobody from FMCL has any business peeking out into that sight line. Seeker's got no choice but to try and contest with what's left of his life. And FMCL are down to one final push against double DPS ults.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have that great combination that they used on the last map on Oasis with Terror Surge plus Pulse Bomb, but you're getting closer. Sound Barrier available here for M80. I think M80 pushes up because they want to get some of these ultimates out up at FMCL early, right? That's the Amp Matrix going down.
Hawk getting picked off there. Real focus fire from FMCL, and now a true opening. One almost got made between Pelican's ears. Eventually, Mimone can finish the kill. Down to 4, RM80, with Hawk coming off the respawn, but not quite in position to contest here. The sound barrier that will be crucial. The timing of these will matter greatly. Aerial now with the Annihilation. He's in the perfect place, and okay, the boot there. Aerial sent back towards the rest of M80. So the sound barrier is dissipated. Aerial still has a second left of that Annihilation. He's made the space, but M80 now will have a chance to come out and contest this properly. There's a pulse bomb here for Pelican and the stick. Oh, he might have saved them this map. Seeker's down. The centerpiece for FMCL. And now the Terror Surge will hold FMCL in place. It's easy shots for Happy as Lep was slow, trying to leave that field of effect. And M80 get it done here. Holding out and taking Midtown away. A beautiful finish. And sometimes the best pulse bombs are just those single kill ones, Matt. Pelican ends the round there and then.
And I thought FMCL, they were in a pretty decent spot, right? They get Happy really low. It's the Immortality field used in Sound Barrier to try and keep him up. So you get the little bit later Sound Barrier, you get the Annihilation, you push them further back. But I mean, that's why you get a player like Pelican, right? Who can come up in the clutch and make those plays. It's like you didn't even see Seeker really on his screen. He just kind of flies by, nails that pulse bomb, and once you lose the Sojourn, it kind of seals the deal.
Competitive map, right? We saw the Widow duel on the first half. That was a lot of fun. And a lot of this tank switching, right? Hawk even coming out of the gates on Sigma. We know that's his preference. It's always been his preference. Eventually, though, being forced to play that Orisa in moments like this were absolutely massive. We thought it might have been even nastier. There was a beautiful sort of pulse bomb set up there, I think, on that first map from Pelican with the Terror Surge. When Hawk gets to play Sigma, he's a problem. Happy with that hit scan pressure, looking much improved from the group stage, where consistency was definitely the question leveled at him. And I got to say, great DPS on the side of FMCL. Thought Seeker had a great time. I think Seeker won the Widow battle, 100%. Mimone always a threat here. Both teams, look, really quality backline as well in Lep and Renko, right? I mean, they are going up against the team that dropped them, so I'm sure there's a bit on the line, as was discussed on the desk earlier. But for all that said, all that bluff and bluster, it's a 2-0 scoreline for M80.
Yeah, I mean, I like we talked about after map 1, I actually, like this FMCL team. I think they actually, have a ton of good players, ton of talent. And I think that, they can keep this, series close. Like, do I think they, I mean, if you played the series 10 times, like there'd definitely be some outcomes, or they probably end up with an upset, right? It's just
once or twice.
This time, I mean, there's a pulse bomb at the end. I mean, that is crazy there as Pelican nails that one right on the Seeker. So that sets up M80 really nicely, right? Up 2-0 in the driver's seat. You feel like that was potentially maybe their best shot in this series that you just took from FMCL. I think you just need to, when you get up in these 2-0 scenarios, just put it away, right? Don't let teams with talent linger around and make it interesting.
Absolutely. The first seed from Group C versus our second seed from Group D here. It's a double elimination though here, so FMCL, even if they struggle in a match like this, will have their opportunities in the lower bracket. And from the quality they've displayed throughout that Group D, they'll definitely be on for a couple of big games. But so far, it has been all about M80 here in this series. Here's your head-to-head of DPS, something we discussed a fair bit, and honestly, you can throw a tissue over the two of them, pretty close together. Seeker, obviously, you know, just with a little bit weaker of a KD. So, what's your brow furrowed for? You not heard that term before?
Oh well, I mean, I was like, 29 limbs with 11 deaths. It has a higher KD than the 28 and less deaths, but
it might be a final blow.
Maybe
final blow to death.
Final blows in there. Maybe hiding the numbers from me, right? But I know I'm an expert mathematician. There's nothing you can get by me. There's nothing. None of those you can get by me. I've got like a TI-83 up here, whatever it's called. One of those.
I mean, Matt pretends he doesn't know what it is. It rattles out the exact model number of the graphics calculator you get in your senior year. Okay, mate. You're not fooling anyone, buddy boy.
Hey, those things are cool. Hey, when I got one of those, I was like, man, we made it. And then I was like, man.
And then you didn't use it. Instead, you drove a meat truck around New York City.
I just copied off other kids.
Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Here we go.
I just befriended the smart kids, and I was like, hey, man, did you help me out?
So why don't we ever get along? Is that not your strategy anymore? Oh, wait.
What do you mean?
Never mind.
Hey, I gotta ask. It's been bothering me the last few times you come on camera.
Okay.
What's the deal with the half shirt tucked in? Is that something new? Like, am I missing out? Like,
oh no, I just haven't.
My t-shirt, I can't get half of it tucked in and half of it out.
No,
it just doesn't
the
work.
problem is that like one of my
like a new thing.
Well, see, here's a problem because I've been carrying you for so long.
Yeah.
One of my latissimus dorsi is like much larger than the other, so if I even flex slightly, it threatens to rip the shirt.
Man,
so
you're running out of material real fast.
You need to give it a bit of extra space on one side. Excuse me, that is fresh. That is OC.
They're gonna make it 30 for 30. What happened? What happened to Mitch Leslie? Is happy with a Widowmaker here off the start to rip Seekers.
This guy just revealing my midlife crisis. Okay, buddy. Listen, we're doing fine. I'm talking about video games. I'm living the dream, and I'm watching Happy pound it. Love to see an opener like that, and audacious to start with the Widowmaker here, but he is issuing a challenge right now.
Yeah, the 30 for 30 about Mitch Leslie, from stadiums to VB long necks, down. I'm trying to name an Australian place, but I don't know many.
You've nailed it. You've nailed a VB long neck. I don't drink that swill.
I got it, right? I got that's one of them.
No, I'm more of a Cooper's guy, but you've done very well, Matt. You've obviously been in Australia recently. Seeker is able to find Happy, so they're 1-on-1 of the DPS challenge, and here comes Seeker again. Hawk under a lot of pressure, and this is the issue for the Sigma, right? When that space gets taken away, he's under pressure to rotate those cooldowns just to get away. And meanwhile, all that ground has been given up, opening the sightlines for Seeker.
Well, I also have to say, like, it's pretty impressive for FMCL to, like, bounce back a little bit there off the start, because, like, who would have expected Widowmaker on the other side, right? Like, long sightlines we typically see, like, Sojourn, Hanzo, like, nobody really comes out and plays Widowmaker. And with the momentum already for M80, like, you could see that start to spiral potentially, but they come back in that next fight, and look at this, they end up taking the lead, and now see how they decide to play this. They probably want to back up. They don't want to, like, kind of push into this high ground, maybe use the Ramatra as bait to see if they can get Hawk further in.
It almost feels like they're skill checking FMCL at the start of every map. Like, hey, can we play Sigma Widow? No, we have to play Sojourn Orisa? Okay, fine. And they just run back the composition that's generally accepted to be the most robust at the moment. But I'm glad to see them try at the very least, forcing FMCL to give them a reason to respect them. Happiness found Lep, and that's an issue for FMCL, who need to reposition back to the middle part of the map, but are at great risk of getting caught just like this. Oh, they might give up a fair bit of ground. They've got to stall this bot while they're going down.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think they're going to give up, like, a lead, potentially, right? I think FMCL can probably get back and contest this. It's just this is what they'll probably end up giving up, right? Is they can't kind of sit up here and control this high ground. I think M80 is going to push a little bit further in. Pulse bomb from Memo doesn't connect with anything, where this will be an amp matrix here from Ultraviolet. So this is just going to try and buy them more of that space, right? Like, you don't use this amp matrix up here on the high ground, right? This is probably where the fight kicks off, like on the top of that bridge, trying to buy some space. Nice shot there from Happy. What in the world?
That's taking so much of the pressure off this backline here. Seeker's Deadeye, of course, is going to force a stoppage in play for now. But as soon as they come back here, I don't know if they bought enough time for Bimo to return. Okay, he's on the way back at the very least here. Seek a beautiful shot on Ultraviolet. Chasing here. Sound barrier means you can go that step deeper, and Happy, even with the slide, had nowhere to go. FMCL losing a key player at the start of that fight, not only stabilized, but ended up winning. Hit scan pressure, a big part of that. Nice job, Seeker.
Yeah, the downside will be is that coming into this fight, look at this Pelican just kind of trolling a little bit, stopping the bot, stalling it. Is that M80 will come in with their sound barrier, right? Sound barrier with the Orisa in the mix, you can get right past this Sigma shield. I would look for that to potentially be something that M80 tries to cook up.
I gotta say, Ariel with the most based skin choice possible. I think a shared nationality between him and one of those previous Philadelphia players might have prompted this decision, but it looks good. Predominate, baby. Oh, well, there it is. Terror Surge slopes everyone from FMCL in, but it's a very back and forth fight. Seek able to break that immortality field early, allows Mimone to do some damage. I think, though, that's about all he's going to get, but it's just only going to see the bot return to about neutral a bit further down before FMCL get back. Lep being the last spawner will slow them up ever so slightly, though.
And for FMCL, the key will be trying to keep this space between the Sigma and the Orisa, right? We've talked about it in the last map, right? When the Orisa kind of closes the gap to the Sigma, gets past the shield, that's when they can really start to win that 1v1 battle. But if Ariel can keep this range, right, where especially here, kind of controlling that high ground, you can definitely do, then you start to see where the Sigma potentially can kind of just chip away at this Orisa.
Sigma here for Ariel. Hawk knows that there's a lot of pressure he can put down here, but closing the gap without getting picked apart by this high ground control is the issue. A lot of that falls on Pelican's shoulders. Can he disrupt this very entrenched setup for these longer range heroes on the bridge? Happy, of course, you could sort of count on him finding a random headshot here and there, but that's a little speculative. Pinging the stairs they are, so they're saying, we've got to get the shield out, we've got to press our Ariel down and maybe sneak the bot in behind some of these defensive cooldowns.
Trying to get an angle on it's so hard though, right? I mean, what, you go to like hug where Seeker is playing up there on the high ground, but he's sitting up there with a charged railgun shot, right? You're not just gonna like walk up to underneath there and make a play. But look at that, Happy takes out Renko. I mean, that is huge.
Flux here for Happy, wants to try and get out of line of sight. And, okay, no sound barrier available there, but it doesn't matter. Happy hits the ground and nails left. That's 2 kills with railguns in this fight. And that's probably the most brute force solution I've ever seen from a team playing from M80's position on this map. Just grind their way through, try and find picks. It had nothing to do with Pelican going deeper, though he does now, and finds a kill with a pulse bomb. But they couldn't rely on the Tracer flank there for so much of that fight, and they still get that checkpoint. This is big for M80.
Yeah, who's had a pretty sick series, I think, for M80 is like Ultraviolet.
Yeah.
They don't actually even need the immortality field to kind of like save Happy with that flux, and he actually just throws a long-range immortality field right at Hawk and ends up saving him. So there's a lot of ultimates used by FMCL, but they kind of need to at this moment. Is the bot getting up to 90 meters of progress right now. This is where push becomes really difficult, right? Like, okay, you're gonna have to win 2-3 fights in a row, right? To kind of take the lead. And M80, you can kind of pool resources, right? Terror Surge, Amp Matrix, Sound Barrier, all coming online. No real reason to kind of like throw them in on this first fight.
That was a real grind for M80 to get as far as they did. Hard-fought meters. Now FMCL have to do the same. It's going to come from a great start. They need a huge pick in this fight. So much of Overwatch right now is Sojourn involved. Requires these picks. M80 forced to the outside of the ring here because of the Amp Matrix, but they're happy to get the space for now, given how extensive their lead is. And they can fall back, Matt, to these safe high ground positions.
Yeah. Just play from this high ground, just burn clock, right? Ariel gets really low, and now they try and put the pressure as, you lose that tank. Seeker ends up losing the long-range battle to Happy a little bit before then. So this is just, this is when it becomes even worse, right, for FMCL is, now you're back at square one where you're going to have to win, 4 fights in a row, right? Providing M80 doesn't even get any more progress.
I mean, you're talking up Ultraviolet. I vibe with it. It's the Happy and Pelican show again. Hawk doing a great job as well of forcing Ariel to use those defensive cooldowns earlier. You're so much weaker when you have to pop those. Hawk able to hold on to his for a long time and avoid that amount of poke damage he takes. Seeker there, lights from the window. He drops off that high ground. It could be the Pelicans causing him problems there. Good pulse though from Mimone. Sound barrier too late to save Happy. But can he work with this still to some degree as M80? The answer is absolutely not. Liar almost gets turned into an ornament there, pinned to the wall. And FMCL now will head back to the middle of the map. Chop wood, carry water. Time for some honest Overwatch.
Here comes
that's
Hawk,
dishonest.
just looking to it's like maybe stall here as Pelican will run out as well. So just trying to buy even some more time. I wonder if Lyre and M80 thought that FMCL had like support ultimates, right? And you figure like, okay, you know, 2 minutes on the clock, we can trade beat for like their beat and Ant Matrix or, you know, something along those lines, right? And at the time, FMCL was just a little bit off.
Maybe the tracking there not exactly where they want it to be. Lep and Lyre have been out of sync in sound barriers times on this map. This is another junk fight for M80. They'll take what they can get from this. And honestly, happy finding Momo, not too shabby. Maybe one more and they'd be real pleased. We'll have to settle for a bit of stall instead.
Yeah, not a fight that M80 necessarily needed to win, right? That's Ant Matrix, that's Overclock. That comes out there for FMCL. Nah, this is probably their best attempt, right? You know, a minute on the clock, you lose, and the bot goes all the way back the other way. You're going to need like a miracle run, so they got to make it happen now.
Ariel's too low. Desperately, I think that with the regenerative burst, they got them back up to half here. But that health bar is struggling to stay afloat. Pelican finding Seeker there as they were already under extreme pressure as it was. Happy getting the play from the high ground. He was huge in the Terror Surge employed by Hawk. Ariel just able to get away into the safety of the Immortality field, but how much longer can FMCL hold on? There's a lot of pressure here for M80. Ariel trying to get towards Happy, but he's so healthy. The Orisa about to get dragged down and sent off to the glue factory as the Immortality field just acts as an insurance policy. M80, with 24 seconds left in the round, are in full control. And they're ready to end things here.
Yes, the bot will just kind of make its way back towards mid-map, towards the FMCL side. It's, down by a large margin at this point. It does not look good. I mean, well, you have 2 ultimates to work with. You got to get back to the bot. We'll see if that even happens.
Ariel able to touch here with the Terror Surge at the very least. Questing Javelin finds naught. There's got to be an overclock here for Happy. This is definitely a good part of the map to make it happen. You don't have a low ground disadvantage. Relatively even playing field here. For a neutral fight playing out for FMCL survival in this series. Can't feel good for them. Double Air Matrix, double Railgun, double kill. Happy the one to go down there, but Renko, the lion's share of the healing for FMCL, is now AWOL. Hawk doesn't mind getting dragged into the Maelstrom here because he can hold his own. And it will be M80 taking the series away, advancing here in our main event.
Yeah, really strong win for M80. Obviously going up against a team in FMCL who I think can make a little bit of a run in losers depending on how it shakes out. I think with M80, it's like, okay, that was awesome. Like now we want to see them do it against some of the other top teams in North America, which I think after that performance, a lot of people probably imagine they can.
We saw it multiple times at the start of some of these maps. M80 are trying to play maybe a more preferred style. Sigma, Widowmaker, can we get away with this? Time and time again, the answer is no. You need to play something more reasonable. You need to play something more standard, but they've shown us that standard comp works well for them. Much to talk about in this match, especially the prospects of M80 moving forward. For all that, we're going to head over to these knuckleheads on the desk.
Knuckleheads joining the fray here. Just the 2 of you, not me, obviously. Let's chat about this.
I think it was a collective.
Maybe it was collective. Okay, I'm part of the problem.
It's up to the chat.
Yeah, we're knuckleheads, so what?
Yeah.
Fine. All knuckleheads reporting in, and that is fine. We're the people. Calling everyone knuckleheads now out there. I want to chat about this because heading into this main event, quite frankly, M80's performance did not convince anyone. Yes, you can argue about, what time they had to get out of bed or like what ping they're playing on. But overall, I think people expected M80 to just look so much more dominant. And thus far, that has been the case in the group stage. What changed?
I think really we saw so much performance out of Peli and Happy in this match. You really have to credit them a lot with how strong the team looks now. Having these players at full strength has just changed the game for them.
I mean, this was a sick little duel here with the Widowmaker. That was clean. It was clean for my mouth. Come on, it was clean. Oh, and Seeker with the Widowmaker highlights.
He was lights out. Seeker was seriously lights out, but it still wasn't enough. I mean, this stick from, but that was a really nasty one.
Yeah.
Like if he doesn't get this, honestly, I think they get full capped on.
Yeah.
Like, that stick saves the game.
Yeah, and some nice switches coming
God, I didn't even see that one live. Oh, my God.
But frankly, for anyone who's now going to find themselves in the lower bracket, they should be very scared of the team from FMCL.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, I think now that they're really gelling, they look like a scary opposition, even though they fell 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a sick team. By the way, we got player of the match, Happy here. Incredible individual performance. What we wanted to see, actually now in the States as well, afternoon. Don't have to. You can wake up, do your morning routine, everything you need to do, Happy, to get in order.
The narrative.
Yeah, everything. That's the narrative. Afternoon Happy is better than morning Happy. But yeah, incredible individual performance by Happy. But I really like this FMCL roster, and we're gonna see more of them in the lower bracket. Of course, they're not eliminated just yet, but I want to see more of them, and I hope they stick together. Whatever happens, because they are talented players. But you have the NA roster mania. There's players all over the place, and you don't have the time to build synergy. But really, I mean, these are really individual players. They just need more time together to click and figure out compositions. You saw in this series, M80. They were so on top of the compositional swaps that they always had a leg up. And so, FMCL, they were always on the back foot, and then you have to deal with two amazing Korean hitscan players. So.
Yeah, they're going to come back for a revenge match. I smell it. I can smell it.
They can definitely be a threat in the lower bracket.
Yeah, sure. And they should be considered as such. For now, though, we, of course, want to highlight our winners. M80 are moving on in the upper bracket. We have Liar joining us for a chat now. Liar, welcome to the show, and congratulations. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. That was such a good warm-up for our match tomorrow. And honestly, I'm feeling pretty great.
Nice little warm-up.
Love that.
No love for Seeker, man. No love for the...
Honestly, I have love for everybody on that team except Leb. So.
Oh, the Lucio duel. I want to see a 1v1 on the flank.
Match chat was muted, so you guys weren't seeing, but there was a lot of typing that match. A lot of typing.
Oh, man. They should unmute that.
Yeah,
we're missing out.
That's what we were saying.
Rob.
That's what we were saying.
I'm going to talk to some people.
This would be so good. No, you should. I'm not kidding. It would actually, it's so good.
Yeah, we'll give them a call. Don't worry. We'll give them a call. Don't worry about it. Look, it seems like you guys are so confident in your gameplay. Not only because you come out here in the interview and you just throw shade on them, but also it really looks like with the hero swaps, and obviously now you're 2 damage players during the country as well. How are you guys feeling going into the tournament? Taking on Toronto Defiant and etc. What's the mood of the team?
I mean, ever since our Koreans got on low ping, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we're just a completely different team. I think we're playing how people expected us to. I'm just gonna be honest. This might bite me, but I'm not worried about any other team besides Toronto. I don't think any other teams are they can't match our team.
Yeah, so I mean, do you think it really is? How much impact do you think that's had being in person, having the players off ping? Is that the key differentiator, or is this meta also something favorable for you guys? I think Ultraviolet on the BAP looks really comfortable. Of course, I saw even you in this series, right? You're playing some Lucio, some Brig, swapping back and forth. So I guess I'm curious, seeing all these different comps come out, maybe more than we saw last tournament with the Lucio carry being pretty much locked in. How do you feel the meta is going to go and develop it as we continue on in this tournament?
So yeah, I feel like this meta is actually like not bad for us. I'm trying to think. I think that obviously high ping and waking up at like 5-6 a.m. to play matches is not good. I mean, we have like a big advantage thanks to our college. Like we all get to play here. Like I'm gonna show you guys real quick. Like we're all here. so we're all here, and I mean it's like we're basically an Overwatch league. And I mean I'm not gonna lie, like we definitely have an advantage over that, but it's definitely helped like the camaraderie, I'd say. And I mean, I don't know, it just feels like we're an actual team now instead of having 4 scrim blocks and then playing a Swiss stage. So yeah, I mean honestly I think we're all feeling really good. The comp is good. I think we have good swaps, good players, so I feel very confident.
The confidence during the group stage was, do you think it was really just shaky because 2 players were playing on ping, or did you have to get into some sort of groove? Because quite frankly, matching up in like Orisa mirrors, it did not look as solid as what we would have expected from you guys.
Yeah, so like I said, we had maybe 8 scrim blocks into that group stage, and a lot of these teams have had a lot of time together. So I just think that their teamwork was a lot better than ours. And again, like it wasn't all ping issues. Like you're 100% right. But I think us being here, it just solved a lot of these like little issues that we had online. And we're playing, like I said, we're just playing way better.
Oh yeah, no, performance looked lights out. The team is vibing. We love to see that. Got to clean up in the background a little bit for next interview. But other than that, 10 out of 10. We love to see it. Liar, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck in the rest of the tournament.
All right, thank you guys.